Hi there and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. Arsenal could even let 25-year-old leave the club on loan in a January transfer window. Arsenal could decide to let Aaron Ramsdale leave the Gunners on loan during the January transfer window before making a final decision on his future in the summer. That's according to a report from TEAMtalk, which notes that the 25-year-old could leave the Emirates in the winter in the hope of securing regular game time ahead of Euro 2024. It would have stunned Arsenal fans if they had been told before this season just how little Aaron Ramsdale would play for the Gunners, but Mikel Arteta decided to bring in David Raya, and the Spaniard is now the number one for Arsenal. Reports from the Daily Mail have suggested that the likes of Chelsea and Bayern München are monitoring Ramsdale. However, Arsenal want around £60 million for the 25-year-old. That makes a January move seem unlikely. But TEAMtalk is now reporting that clubs may not need to pay anywhere near as much to sign Ramsdale in a couple of months. In fact, Arsenal could be willing to let the former Sheffield United man leave on loan. That would then allow the club to make a permanent decision in the summer. It would be a real surprise if Arsenal allowed Ramsdale to leave on loan. Obviously, Mikel Arteta will be sympathetic to his situation, and it's clear just how popular Ramsdale is at Arsenal. However, Arteta made the ruthless call to bring Raya in just a few months after Ramsdale signed a new contract, so he is surely going to be prepared to make the ruthless decision to hold on to the goalkeeper for the second half of the season. If Arsenal lose Raya to injury at any stage, Ramsdale is going to have a big role to play, and Arsenal look set to be battling for the Premier League title again this season. It would certainly be a cup for any side if they could land Ramsdale on loan from Arsenal. Mikel Arteta says he still doesn't know £16 million Arsenal player's best position. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta has admitted that he has no idea what Takehiro Tomiyasu's best position is. The Japan international is slowly getting back to his best. He has been incredible in recent weeks, and Arteta is delighted with his performances. However, the Arsenal boss hasn't figured out Tomiyasu's strongest position yet. Arsenal signed Takehiro Tomiyasu from Bologna in the summer of 2021 for just £16 million. The Japanese defender was brought in as a right back, but over the last 2.5 years, he has featured across the back four for the Gunners. Most of Tomiyasu's appearances this season have come at left back, while he played in the heart of the defense in the last round of the Carabao Cup against Brentford. Mikel Arteta was asked in his press conference if Tomiyasu can play in any of the four defensive positions at Arsenal. The Gunners boss replied, as relied on Highter's TV, "Yeah, he doesn't care. You see him strike the ball right or left, or playing left centre-back or right centre-back, he adapts straight away. That's a huge quality." Arteta was then asked about Tomiyasu's best position. He said, "I cannot tell you. To be honest, I don't know. He needs a run of games and probably we need to see partnerships to reply to that question in the right way. Today, I cannot tell you what is his best. What is more needed now? Yes, because we have less depth in that position, left back. But what is his best position? I don't know." There are very few players in the world who can slot in comfortably anywhere across the backline. Arsenal's Takehiro Tomiyasu is one of them. The Japan international has had a number of injury issues since he joined Arsenal, but there are few defenders more reliable than him when he is fit and available. Tomiyasu has already played in all four defensive positions this season, and he has been incredible. He gives Arteta numerous options every single game, and he has the ability to deliver irrespective of where he plays. Arsenal take on West Ham United in the Carabao Cup tonight. Tomiyasu is expected to start, but only Arteta knows which position he will be deployed in. Mikel Arteta hints he will play unbelievable 24-year-old for Arsenal versus West Ham. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has hinted that Edin Ketaya will feature for the Gunners in the Carabao Cup tonight. The Arsenal boss says the 24-year-old Gunners striker is in a really good moment at present and reckons he is fresh, suggesting he will play a part. Arsenal will hope to make it 3 wins in a row and go unbeaten in 5 when they head to West Ham for their last 16 clash. With Gabriel Jesus currently out on the sidelines, Nketiah has been tasked with leading the line for the Gunners. Nketiah was outstanding in Saturday's Premier League win over Sheffield United, bagging a hat-trick in a 5-0 victory at the Emirates Stadium. Arteta must now decide whether to start the England international against the Hammers or potentially rest him ahead of the weekend. When asked by Football London what he wants to do, the Arsenal boss said, both. We have to be conscious with the amount of minutes they play because he's started a lot of games in the Premier League, but in terms of how we have utilized him, I think he is fresh. He is in a really good moment. When players are like this, they have to be used, whether that's from the start or from the bench, and we will see. Arteta must decide how to manage his players over the coming days, as Arsenal have two tricky away fixtures in a quick succession. He certainly has a tough decision on his hands. It would be great to see Nketiah get another start under his belt and another chance to impress, but at the same time, he needs to be protected for Newcastle. With that in mind, I predict that the unbelievable forward will start on the bench and perhaps get a run out later on in the game. Arsenal eyeing 22-year-old international attacker with £52 million release clause. Arsenal are said to be closely watching Sporting Lisbon winger Jenny Katamo. According to Football Transfers, the Gunners are one of several clubs eyeing the 22-year-old attacking talent. As well as Arsenal, the likes of Tottenham Hotspur and Aston Villa are apparently in pursuit of the Sporting Lisbon player. In good news for the Gunners and their suitors, the report claims that Katamo could leave his current club as early as the January transfer window. Arsenal are fairly well stocked in attack at present, but there is always a scope to look at reinforcement ahead of the January transfer window. Katamo joined Sporting back in 2019 after signing from Portugal's lower league outfit Amora, where he was playing for the B team for 3 years. He has enjoyed an excellent start to the season with 1 goal and 2 assists for the Lions in their first 8 games. The reported Arsenal's target side are joint top of the league with Benfica and Porto with a game in hand and also remain unbeaten in the division. In addition, Katamo is represented by Promo Sport. With FT claiming the Gunners have a good relationship with the agency after amicable negotiations over Carlos Soler back in 2021. According to the report, the reported Gunners target possesses great dribbling skills. He has also helped Mozambique qualify for the Africa Cup of Nations. As per Transfer Market, Katamo is a fairly versatile player. He plays on the wings for Sporting, but for Mozambique, he also has played up front and even in central midfield. In terms of how much he could cost Arsenal, the Birmingham Mail recently spoke of a report in Ebola claiming Katamo has a €60 million release clause. The report also claimed that Sporting don't own 100% of the player's right, rather, they own 25%, with the remaining 75% owned by Amora. Sporting apparently want to try and negotiate with the Setball-based team, but they will likely demand in excess of €600,000. The club is also reportedly keen to extend the winger's contract for at least another year until 2027. However, the release clause would remain the same. Pundit says £50 million striker could be the perfect signing for Arsenal. Edin Nketiah may have scored a hat-trick for Arsenal on Saturday, but the Gunners continue to be linked with new strikers. Indeed, despite Nketiah's brilliance at the weekend, there is still this prevailing view that the North London club need to bring in a new centre forward if they are going to reach the next level. The name that has cropped up most frequently in recent weeks is Brentford's Ivan Toney. And speaking on the Handbrake Off podcast, Adrian Clark has shared his belief that Toney could be just what the doctor ordered at Arsenal. Clark says that Toney is the exact profile of striker that Arsenal could do with. Clark shared his verdict on the £50 million attacker. He said, "Same, yeah, I like Ivan Toney. I think he is the profile that we could do with either him or someone like him. This squad can accommodate another center forward. It's as simple as that. Strikers are better in short bursts. It's such an explosive position, and you can rotate a bit more at center forward. A lot of clubs in the lower leagues carry for strikers. If they can do that, we can do that." Arsenal have two fantastic strikers at the moment in Gabriel Jesus and Edin Ketia, but both players are very different. While Jesus is more renowned for his link-up play, Nketiah is much more of an old-fashioned goal scorer. In an ideal world, there is a happy medium to be found, and that's where Tony comes in. A great finisher who can drop deep while also operating as a target man. Tony is a combination of everything Arsenal are looking for, and there are many reasons to believe this deal could be just what the Gunners need. Tony isn't back from his ban until January, and once he returns, the timing could be ripe for Arsenal to make their move. Arsenal really aren't sure about signing £50 million player in January now. Arsenal continue to be linked with the new strikers, and one player who has been on the agenda at the Emirates for a little while has been Victor Osimhen. The Napoli striker has been linked with a move to the Emirates for quite some time now, and by the looks of things, he could be on the move in the next 12 months away from the Serie A. However, according to Dean Jones speaking on the Ranks FC podcast, the striker may not be on his way to North London. Indeed, journalist says that there is some skepticism within Arsenal around signing Osimhen, as there hasn't been any contact between the parties so far, and that Arsenal aren't sure about spending huge money on a player again so soon after breaking their club record transfer fee on Declan Rice. Jones shared what he knows about Osimhen. He said, "Victor Osimhen is the type of player you expect to move and make a huge difference in the Premier League or otherwise. So, where is he going to go? Chelsea and Arsenal are the two places linked most heavily with him. I think there is some skepticism from the point of view of Arsenal. I don't believe there is actually been any contact around this, and Arsenal going to this figure again after Declan Rice, that would be hugely significant if they were to go there. Osimhen may cost massive money to sign in January, but he could well be worth it. Indeed, this is a striker who almost single-handedly fired Napoli to the Serie A title last season, and he could have a similar effect at Arsenal. His attributes certainly suit the Premier League to a T, and if Arsenal managed to get hold of him, that could separate them from the rest of the pack. Osimhen is a player you can't help but admire, and we can't understand why Arsenal are having second thoughts about this one. Perhaps Osimhen is more likely to join Chelsea than Arsenal after all. Arsenal more likely to buy £53 million Champions League midfielder than Chouamini next year. Journalist Ben Jacobs has suggested that a move for Martin Zubimendi may be more possible for Arsenal than Aurelien Chouamini, with the Frenchman showing no interest in leaving Real Madrid. Jacobs was speaking to Out Offside, as he also noted that Douglas Luiz remains on the Gunners' radar as they set their sights on another midfielder. Arsenal fans may be dreaming of a deal for Aurelien Chouamini heading into the January transfer window. It was reported by Football Transfers that Arsenal have made Chouamini their number one target for next year. However, Ben Jacobs has suggested that the Real Madrid youngster is unlikely to end up at the Emirates anytime soon, but there is more encouraging news when it comes to the likes of Martin Zubimendi and Douglas Luiz. He said, "Links with Chouamini are wide of the mark. There has been no approach. Chouamini wants to stay at Real Madrid, who also have no desire to sell. Martin Zubimendi is perhaps more possible in 2024. Arsenal wanted the Real Sociedad midfielder in January, but there was no player buy-in, and the La Liga club also didn't want to sell. Zubimendi has a £53 million release clause. Right now, Arsenal are only holding formative internal talks on all potential names, and from what I'm told, if Arsenal have their way, they could well look a bit closer to home. Aston Villa's Douglas Luiz is still appreciated. It's tough because he is enjoying life at Villa under Unai Emery. Of course, Zubimendi's release clause does not necessarily mean that Arsenal will get a deal done if they do decide to make a move for the Spaniard in one of the coming windows. Reports from Cadena Ser in January claimed that Arsenal were willing to trigger the release clause of Zubimendi. However, he reportedly made it clear that he was not looking to leave Real Sociedad. Sociedad have been superb over the last couple of years, finishing fourth last season. They currently find themselves fifth in the early stages of this campaign, but Arsenal may hope that there is scope to tempt Zubimendi to consider a future move if they do trigger his release clause. As we wrap up today's Arsenal news, remember to stay tuned for daily updates right here on the channel. Don't miss out on the latest updates, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this information valuable. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.